everybody, welcome to my channel. Everything I say is alleged, my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Let's get into this review of Real Housewives of New Jersey Reunion Part 3. We start out with them bringing out the husbands, introducing the husbands and boyfriends. Because I think Dolores is the only one that's not married, right? Yeah. So let's get right to it. Andy want to bring up Louis wearing Teresa's father pajamas. Child, I can't. Louis, what you talking about that came out wrong? You said it on national TV that you sleep with the father pajamas on to make the girls feel comfortable. What you talking about, Louis? Okay, Louis. You're sounding real creepy right now. You said you had the pajamas on. Now all of a sudden it was a bag of clothes and you put on some joggers. And you sorry for saying that to Joe. You trying to get close to Joe. What? Just weird. So Joe gets to talking. He said he want to believe Louis, but every time Louis talk, he screw him. And Joe said Teresa was good after she got out of jail. She was very humble. I talk to her every day. Teresa says he only called because we was filming. And here go Melissa jumping in. Can the conversation be between Teresa and Joe? Why you keep jumping in? Watching this just lets me know kind of what Teresa is going through. She's having a conversation with her brother. Let them argue. Why you keep jumping in? Yes, you his wife, but let him have the argument with his sister. Damn. Another point that Teresa was right on was that they never invited her out. Melissa confirmed that they didn't invite her out because she was single. She was going out with quote unquote 20-year-olds is what Melissa said. And they were couples, so they didn't invite her out. So you just proved Teresa's point, Melissa. Y'all didn't invite her out. She invited herself. So Teresa wasn't lying. So they showed the husbands and the calendar that they did and pretty much the bromance that they're forming between each other, minus Louis. So someone asked Frank about his relationship with Dolores, and he basically said that it's nothing, sexual, which he thinks Paulie took the wrong way. It's just that, that's his best friend, and they have a family together, and he would like to, keep it that way, I guess. And then we find out that he's no longer about to live with David, which is Dolores' ex, and him and his new girlfriend is about to close on a house. Good for you, Frank. We found out that him and Paulie are in a great place for Dolores' sake. Great. So they turn to Bill and Jen, and someone asked a question about, do he feel guilty about neglecting his family? He said he does not neglect his family. He said he's doing better with his family because he don't want his marriage to fail. He said in the profession that he's in, it doesn't call for a good family life, but he's doing better. And Jen agrees. Then we move on to Frank and Dolores. Andy asked him when he gonna make an honest woman out of Dolores. He said that Dolores don't want to be married. Dolores said that's not true. Paulie said Dolores wants to take her time. He said he's not in a rush. Then they was like, he got to get divorced first. He said that's in the works. So I guess once the divorce is done, they're gonna get married. Or whatever. They asked about Paulie's ex, and does he get along with her? He said he does get along with his ex. It's his ex, and it got quiet. He looks at Dolores. He was like, I don't get along with my ex. She said, yeah, you do. And Andy asked something, and he was like, well, my ex knows that I wouldn't bring anybody around my children that I don't trust. And, Dolores, on top of her being on TV, hasn't met his children. Then somebody asked a question about Frankie, little Frankie, and him working for Louis. He turns to Frank to answer that question. And basically, Dolores shut that down. She was like, I don't want to talk about my son and Louis. Louis gave him a job. It went well, and now my son has another job. Let's shut it down. Dolores shut that shit down real quick. And I don't blame her. Because they're trying to throw Louis under the bus. I mean, he is questionable, but they trying to throw Louis under the bus. And Dolores wants no parts of it, okay? Here go Joe jumping in, trying to throw Louis under the bus. Now I could see what Teresa's talking about when he butts in about with her marriage. Listen, I've been watching this show for a long time, so I kind of understand what's going on. I don't know what it is with Joe and Teresa with her men, but it seems like some type of separation anxiety. He don't want to see his sister happy. Ain't nobody good for his sister. Maybe that's what it is. I don't understand. But Dolores shut that down too. Because she was like, Joe Gorga, we have a good relationship. Don't bring it up. I don't want my son discussed. Point blank and to the period. And I don't blame her. Don't put her son in this mess. Okay? Here goes Pick Me Rachel husband. He has a question. He wants to know why Louis investigated him and finding his baby mama who was in jail. I can't. Like, you turning out to be a pick me husband, like Pick Me Rachel. Now, you had this envelope there, right? Show the proof. Show the proof. That would have been better for you to show the proof. So apparently there's this investigator called Bo Deedle. So I'm not sure what's going on. And I don't know if he's a good friend of Louis, but I don't know what's going on with this Bo Deedle. But here's my thing, right? Margaret come on with her rumors. This whole reality show thing, everybody got to have one up on somebody. So I'm not understanding like what the issue is. If Rachel didn't come on this national TV talking about she want to adopt his son, which is fine. And I feel like it should have stayed to that. But she talked about the mother. She brought Rachel, Pick Me Rachel, brought the mother up and talking about how bad of a mother she is. No, is it okay for people to be investigating? No, but you came on national TV with it. So, I mean, what do you want? I don't know if Louis did it. Louis said he didn't do it. But Pick Me Rachel came on national TV with it and said some bad things about the mother. So Andy said to Louis, so you said in the finale that Bo Deedle knows information on everybody in this room. Now, that could be true. That don't mean he don't have information on Louis and Teresa. That don't mean he hired Bo Deedle to look everybody up. So that's just one way to look at it. I mean, Louis is a little skeptical though. Teresa, I need you to keep one eye open on that one because he a little skeptical, child. I know you in love and in your love bubble and all of that, but he is a little skeptical. But again, if Bo Deedle is a famous investigator, how can you blame Louis? And then Pick Me Rachel's husband was like, he happened to know another private investigator that said that Bo Deedle did it. So how can you blame Louis if you know it came from Bo Deedle? So I agree with Louis. Take that up with Bo Deedle. Now, Louis, this security guard that's downstairs that was sent by Bo Deedle, listen, what kind of connections you got with Bo Deedle? I mean, I get that, you want something on everybody else. Now, I ain't saying you did it, but you good friends with Bo Deedle. Now, you ain't bring nothing out on these people, so I gotta keep it there. But it ain't looking good, Louis. So they talk about Joe and Louis going into business with this pizza place or whatever. Louis said that Joe came up with an idea. He said it was for his sister. Louis cut a check for $100 and something thousand for some ovens to come in. And here go Melissa jumping in again. Like, they were talking between Joe and Louis. Melissa, why do you keep jumping in? Listen, at this point, I get why Teresa is so frustrated with you. Like, you are a problem between her and Joe. Like, this ain't got nothing to do with you at this moment. Let Joe and Louis talk. So again, they talking about this Pizzagate. Louis put up money. Joe said they never discussed money. So, Joe, you never even invested in your business idea, in my opinion. So, why we having a problem? When Louis lost all his money? Melissa said nobody asked you for the money. Child, I'm gonna need you to shut up. Nobody asked him for the money, but he sure invested in the business and ain't stopped Louis from giving that doggone check. So what you talking about, Melissa? Then he turns to Pick Me Rachel's husband and asks him he got a businesses, and he said it should have been an agreement in place. And that's one thing I could agree on. It should have been an agreement in place for sure. Okay, is it me? But did anybody notice that they keep panning on Melissa, and the only thing that she can move is her eyes? Like her head don't move, her nose, her cheeks don't move. Nothing moves. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Let's move on. Child, so we find out that Frank was Joe's attorney, and they was contacted by the FBI for him to come down and talk about Joe Judice, but he never showed up. Child. Teresa said, I know my brother wouldn't hurt me, but he would talk about my ex-husband. Child. Do mi agora. Do mi agora. You breaking my heart in Italian. Okay? Teresa said that to her brother. Here go Melissa butting in again. It's between Teresa and Joe. I swear, this is the problem. Melissa is the problem between Teresa and Joe. She got to step back and let them work things out. Yes, your husband can come to you and vent, but that ain't for you to be jumping in. That's just my opinion, y'all. I'm sorry. Let me know if y'all agree in the comment section. And then Danielle was like, let Joe and Teresa talk. And Melissa looked at Danielle like, with the evil eye, because she can't move no other part of her face, child. Okay, Rachel, why you jumping into this? Because you ain't got nothing to do with this. Not a thing, Pick Me Rachel. So they bring up Teresa believing Jacqueline. Now listen, Jacqueline was a little kind of off the hinges, you know what I mean? She was a little cray-cray, in my opinion. But Teresa seems to believe what she's saying. So Joe said if you would have met an average guy instead of meeting a guy with all these videos, you would be better. And Teresa was like, why are you bringing up videos? Because you got a pass too. He said, and Joe said, bring it out. Child, I can't. This is just becoming too much. So Andy asked Joe if he regret not going to the wedding. He says no. And it comes up that Teresa said that he shouldn't be with Melissa. Teresa says she never said that. And then he says her daughter Gia says that. Teresa said, I'm going to call my daughter right now. Gets Gia on the phone. Gia said, I never said that. She said she was talking about her brother being in the wedding or being at the wedding and walking his sister down the aisle and how he can do better than that. Child, you done ruined your relationship with your nieces, Joe. Teresa gets upset that Joe lied about her daughter, and she storms off the stage. Here go Melissa again chiming in, talking about she's embarrassed. What does Teresa have to be embarrassed about? When her daughter just said that she didn't say what her Uncle Joe said she said. What the F she got to be embarrassed about? Melissa, you the problem. So Andy gets Teresa to come back outside. He tells Joe and Teresa to say what they have to say to each other. Teresa says she don't have nothing to say. Joe said he will always love Teresa, that's his sister, and that if she was in a car accident, he would come running. Teresa was like, no, honor me now while I'm here, while I'm alive. And I agree with that, point blank into the period. So Joe was like, well, just forget about me and let's move on. Well, listen, at the end of the day, sometimes you got to take breaks from family, okay? You have to. If y'all not getting along, y'all keep throwing these jabs at each other, which I feel like Melissa got a lot to do with it, but that's just my opinion. Like, take a break. Come back together. You have a conversation with your sister without your wife. Teresa, you have a conversation with your brother without your husband. And if y'all can't make it work after that, then listen. Live your lives. Point blank, period. Andy ushered the husbands off the stage. Louis felt like he needed to go over to Pick Me Rachel and her husband, tell her she a good mother and that he never had them investigated. But Pick Me Rachel husband was like, I don't believe you. You had it done. Again, you said that Bo Dietl did it. You ain't say Louis did it. You said Bo Dietl did it. You got a whole envelope there Pull out the proof. Before we end this, let's not forget that Teresa said that Margaret is talking to the person that's harassing them. And I believe it. Margaret is a shit starter, okay? So we just have the ladies on the stage. Andy asks Dolores what she feels. Dolores feels like nothing got resolved and they need to part ways. And I totally agree. Margaret and Danielle don't have no negative energy towards them. Dolores said everything needs to be left right here and not talked about anymore. What's her name? Pick Me Rachel and Danielle decided to call a truce. Teresa says she wants peace and to close the door on Melissa. She don't like you, girl. She never liked you. Now, that's just my opinion. Nah, that's for real. She don't like you, Melissa. Period, point blank. And Melissa says, I can feel the hate. Girl, shut up. You know she never liked you. She said, I did everything to try to appease her. She don't like you, girl. Just like Joe don't like none of her men, she don't like you either. Move on. So Melissa says that she loves Teresa despite what she thinks and she worry about her. She's going to go with whatever the family decides. Child. It ain't whatever the family decides. You going to be the problem as usual. And pretty much that's the end of the doggone reunion. This video was long as hell. I'm sorry, y'all. Hopefully, y'all watched the whole thing. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when my next video comes out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.